All right, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the CRM Best Practices webinar brought to you today by the Toolkit CRM. My name is Tyler Murray. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Pareto Systems and part of the marketing team at Blue Square Apps. I'm joined today by Ryan Weeks, my friend and colleague, Operations Manager at Blue Square Apps. And we're excited to share with you today the 8 business best practices and how you can use CRM to implement these best practices successfully, create efficiencies, improve team collaboration, elevate the client experience, and much more.
We will also introduce you to the Toolkit CRM by Pareto and how the toolkit allows you to implement best practices, and we'll show you some examples in real time as well.
Yeah, and the best practices that we are going to be discussing, they're really the backbone of the Toolkit CRM and stem from the Pareto system. And as many of you watching today know, Pareto system's philosophy and approach has been implemented by thousands of successful advisors across North America and around the world for over 20 years, transforming their businesses from good to great.
And this is really about embracing technology. Most people have a CRM. You might have invested in something that's maybe a bit more complex than you need. But remember, the best CRM is the one that suits your business the most. And so you don't need to go out of your way to find a CRM that has features you're never going to use. And this will really ensure that you and your team take full advantage of your CRM. It's really about keeping it simple. For financial advisors, insurance agents, and any other financial professional, the effectiveness of your day-to-day operations will be the best indicator of whether your CRM is performing to your expectations. And if it's not, then how can we improve that? Let's dive right into our best practices.
Sounds good. So if you have a team of any size, you manage more than a handful of clients, then as you probably know, having a CRM is really not optional. As much of your playbook that you can automate, as much of your data that you have on your clients that you can store, and as much as possible that you can collaborate with your team, the better. So with that said, best practice number 1 is getting the most from your CRM, creating efficiencies and productivity.
Yeah, CRM can and it should be the central hub of your business. And all you have to do in the morning is really show up at the office, open your CRM, and it will tell you who you need to follow up with, what clients you'll meet for the day, tomorrow, next week, what you need to do when, and how. And how do you really get the most out of your CRM? I think it really comes down to 3 things. Tyler, you already touched on one around collaborating with your team. I think the second thing is really training your team very well. And lastly, laying out some general guidelines. So with your CRM, to ensure you collaborate with your team, you really want to have full visibility into each other's calendars. You want to be able to easily assign tasks, create appointments with the team members, so that you're really working in unison. And with the Toolkit CRM here as an example, we've really set it up so there's a team calendar, which is set up for insights into what everyone is doing on the team. So it leaves it open really for complete collaboration. Second, it's really about training your team really well. So we want to make sure you have a return on your investment. If your team is not properly educated on how to use the CRM, then the entire tool really becomes, a very expensive filing system. When implementing your CRM training, most CRM companies will provide ongoing training to your team. For us, though, CRM 101 is really navigation. How do you access and input information as quickly as possible? And so when you're evaluating your current CRM for its effectiveness or looking at an alternative CRM, some things to think about, maybe potentially around navigation with tab navigation, so that you can quickly and easily navigate between records within the system. So you can pull up contact information very quickly. You could possibly pull up multiple contacts so you can review people from within the household. Are there quick links within the system to quickly go to the contact's notes? or other record types so you can view the information you want as quickly as possible. Lastly, establish a list of guidelines relating to your CRM so that everyone who works with it is on the same page. So for example, make sure that every new prospective client, without exception, is processed through the CRM.
Yeah, good points, Ryan. We'd also recommend having a reoccurring monthly CRM team meeting, really dedicated to collaborating as a team, training, and really reinforcing these guidelines based on your business. This can be as simple as sitting down together for 20 minutes, half an hour each month. Doesn't even need to be more than that. All right, so moving on, I want to ask you a question. How deep do you go to understand your client's goals and aspirations? Now, many of your competitors, they just scratch the surface and instead go deep on data dumping, industry jargon. It's really essential that you constantly focus on the aspects of your business and relationships that are proprietary to supplement the aspects that are commoditized. An example of that is that as a goals-based planner, the more emphasis you place on why your clients want to achieve financial independence, the more value they will place on how you get them there. When you professionalize an approach to clearly understand the end, the client focuses more on what your value does rather than just what it is. But you need a process to capture and chronicle that information as a client reveals it to you. It can't just reside in your head. It has to be professionally maintained and then mirrored back to the client on a regular basis. The form approach from the Pareto system allows you to invest your client's goals around family, occupation, recreation, and money into your process to provide clarity and confidence to them as their relationship unfolds while serving as an invaluable intellectual property to strengthen your business. Now, Ryan, best practice number 2 is track important client information.
Yeah, I would agree. This is all about building an intellectual property that your competitors don't have on your clients. This is information that just you and your team should know. It should be shared on a regular basis together to create a very personalized client experience. Now, when you're evaluating a CRM, ideally you have an ability to track that information in specific locations within a contact record. So as an example here, if I scroll down, you'll see specific sections here for family, occupational information, recreation information that you can track. So it's this type of information that is very meaningful to clients. So we want to begin to gather that, store it in your CRM, and then begin to leverage that information to create that experience, that better client experience. So, for example, it's the little things that matter. We want that information out of everyone's head, within the CRM and shared with the team. And I think if you were to do anything as a best practice in a CRM, it's tracking form information.
Yeah, and Ryan, if I can just add one more thing, just to ensure that you and your team, prior to every meeting with a client, whether that's in person, over the phone, or virtual, that you are reviewing your client's form information. All right, and now let's move on to the next best practice. So what's great about working at Pareto here, not just working with Ryan every day, but is the clients that we get to interact with on a daily basis. They're typically very successful, a joy to work with, and understand the importance of working on their business. Each has unique business with unique challenges and their own proprietary process. Best practice number 3, Ryan, is customize for your business.
Yeah, and this is really an extension to the last best practice. So we were talking about tracking important client information. So taking that to the next level is customizing your CRM so you have specific record types or custom fields that you create so you can track the information that you want specific to your business. Just simply related to the information that you would like to attract around the services that you offer. So as a financial professional, you might want to track information on securities, insurance policies, annuities, maybe your client's real estate holdings. Ensuring you have everything set up in one location is really ideal. So many CRMs will have the ability to create custom fields and custom entities so that you can track that type of information I mentioned here. Now, what's important here, when you create these additional record types, these additional fields to track information in, you also want to be able to link it to existing records, whether it's households, businesses, children of the clients. Maybe it's the accountant of your client, the estate planning attorney, the mortgage broker. So you want to have a CRM that can link information between record types so everything is collected together and can be easily viewed without having to really dig and search for it.
Yeah, Ryan, customization is super important. I mean, as we know, even with our own CRM, how much customizations we've done there. So moving on to the next best practice, I want to ask everyone, how do you achieve professional contrast? Good fee-for-service professionals rely primarily on solid qualities, skills, and intentions. Exceptional fee-for-service professionals go further by supplementing that with systems and process. The best in any field of endeavor doesn't wing it in anything they do. Like a pilot with a checklist, top professionals get everything out of their heads, documented into a playbook, and deployed consistently by any and all people on their team. If you hope to attract $20 million clients, you can't act like a $2 million professional. Business owners, professionals, and executives appreciate and even crave consistency. And not just in terms of performance, but also in how you conduct yourself. So Ryan, best practice number 4 is automate your processes.
And I think the big question here is, are you executing on your business processes consistently? So for example, and this is from speaking with many financial advisors that use CRM, they want to have a series of automated steps. And I've got 2 classic examples up on the screen here surrounding a prospective client, right? What is the process for working with a prospective client? What are the series of actions or steps that you and your team have to take to work with that person? Now, once they want to actually begin working with you, the next step there is, how do you begin actually onboarding that client? What are the steps involved there? So I've got 2 examples here, processes that you can automate. So there's a sequence of steps here in terms of what that prospective client fit process looks like and how you onboard that new client. And then you can apply these processes to your clients. So your tasks, your appointments are all automated as part of your ongoing process. And this is really about, just replicating what you do in your business, creating more efficiencies, streamlining your firm. And what it's most important about is ensuring that your team delivers consistently every time.
All right, and moving on to the next best practice. And I like starting these with questions too, Ryan. The next question I have for the audience is, do you deserve referrals? Now, I know you want them and you need them, but that's different. The word deserve, as you might know, stems from the Latin words to serve. To the better you serve a client, the more referable you become. There is, however, a profound difference between reactive service and proactive scheduled client experience. Good client service is nice to receive, but is expected, especially by high quality clients. A consistent client experience is refreshing because it's unexpected. Ryan, best practice number 5 is automate your ongoing client experience.
I've got another question for you here to answer and think about is, what does your ongoing service model look like right now? So if it's not even in your CRM, do you have a picture of it in your head? Do you have it in a spreadsheet? Can you replicate your service model in your CRM? So as a financial advisor, you're not just someone that's selling stock tips once with a client to make a commission. These are enduring long-term relationships. So you're going to have touch points throughout the year that are really essential for that long-term relationship, which is really about building trust. And how do you build trust? It's about being consistent and congruent with what you say and what you do. So how can you automate your service model in your CRM? Well, in the Toolkit CRM, there's really two steps to that. The first, of course, with any service model is, what is your client classification framework? So what are your client classification tiers? With many of our Pareto systems consulting clients, they'll follow our client classification framework, which is based on AAA. But of course, other advisors, other professionals will have different client classification tiers. Maybe it's color coordinated, maybe it's based on precious metals. Some even have it as simply as 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever you're doing, you can customize that in the Toolkit CRM. So the first step is having a client classification framework, well-defined descriptions. So having that in place so you know who your ideal clients are, who you're best suited to work with. And of course, it's really about replicating that top group. Now, the next step to really building out your service model in the CRM is, okay, how do you apply ongoing service to each client based on their client class? So if you have one of your best clients, let's just say a AAA client, what type of service are they getting? And here's just a very simple example of some ongoing automated service that you can apply to a client. Maybe you're going to call them on their birthday. You might send them a handwritten birthday card. Maybe you do a quarterly call rotation to check in on your clients. Do you have a semi-annual review meeting with them? So these are the types of activities that are recurring ongoing for years to come. So you can automate this by applying this level of service to the clients in the CRM. So it's going to appear on your calendar or as a to-do, as a task. Now, just to show you an output of what this looks like, what you can build, here's an example service matrix based on what we've created in our account here. So you can customize this, you can customize the client classes, and you can customize all the level of services in your CRM and then apply them to your clients for that ongoing, very consistent client experience.
Yeah, Ryan, the service matrix has always been one of my favorite functionalities of the CRM and as part of the Pareto system. How many of the Toolkit clients do you think are utilizing the service matrix now?
I would say about just over half utilize the service matrix to some degree. I would say the majority of them are using it specifically for the client classification feature. So they've created their own client classes, and they may have applied some levels of service. We always recommend when you're implementing and automating your service matrix in a CRM, it's always around the mindset of keeping it very simple. Start with a few services that you apply to the client classes and then grow it from there. It's a very powerful feature within the CRM. So we do recommend working with the client support team to really think out what your service model is, think about what your service model is, and how it can be utilized in the CRM.
Yeah, I know that's smart, and it's smart to, if you don't have a service matrix already, to just start with a few and continue to add, because the thing is, once you start offering a service to a client, you can't stop, right? So no, that makes a lot of sense. All right, well, moving on to the next best practice. All right, we all know how important it is to be compliant and that we need to track all of our client interactions. But regardless of compliance, tracking all of your client communications will help you create efficiencies and consistency with your team and with your clients. Best practice number 6 is track client communications and documents.
Yeah, so we highly recommend tracking as much information as possible. Sometimes it feels like there's just too much information, all over the place. So the CRM can really be that central hub that puts everything together. So not only your contact information, addresses, form information, but notes, emails, and documents. can all be tracked in one place and all linked between records. So within a CRM, really ensure that you can track that type of information, email communications, activities, appointments that have happened, and very detailed notes that the team can all review and share from their interactions with clients. It's also nice to be able to access all of this information from anywhere. So when we're really talking about client communications, documents, one of the, of course, the big things about the current times is not everyone's able to be in the office at their computer. They're going to be at home. You might even be on vacation. So it's important to have a CRM as well, where you can access all of this type of information on the go from your phone, from a cloud-based software as a service.
Oh, and just before we move on, Ryan, in considering any CRM, cloud-based CRM, most of them these days do have an app, but make sure they do have an iOS and an Android app. And of course, the Toolkit CRM does have both. All right, moving forward, we are all bombarded with endless amounts of data on a daily basis. Some is just noise, and some is really important. As it relates to your clients, we feel that it is all important, but the sheer volume can be overwhelming. And as we have just discussed here, it is critical to be tracking as much data on your clients as you can. But what now? What can you do with it? Best practice number 7, Ryan, is leverage your CRM data.
The problem is that many businesses don't bother turning that data into anything actionable. The best CRMs are those that come with reporting features to use that information to produce valuable conclusions, which can be used to inform, of course, future business decisions. If you spend the time pulling that information out of your CRM, then all of that valuable information is doing something for you and for the productivity in your business. So what reporting options are available in your CRM? So you want to take a look at that. What information can you pull from within it? Maybe you want to pull information to increase the client experience. So maybe it's around client events, right? Lifestyle events, golf, clients that like to do wine tasting, or maybe it's to reach out to clients that would prefer educational events. So you can track this type of information and begin to create lists of clients to invite to those sorts of events. And that's just one example. Maybe you want to report on KPIs, key performance indicators of the firm and of your team. So maybe it's information around the number of referrals from clients or how often you're calling your best clients. So typically we recommend, again, keeping it very simple and pulling information that truly matters. And oftentimes it's just a handful of things that you want to pull from your CRM. So we always recommend working with a client support team to really build the reporting features in your CRM so you can get the information that's most relevant to you.
Thanks, Ryan. That's actually one of my favorite best practices. Do you know why?
Why?
Because it's the second to last one, which means we only have one left. All right, Ryan, best practice number 8 is have a playbook. And the best practices playbook it's really a firm's guiding document that outlines how the advisors and the team are going to conduct themselves. It's a vision of the practice, ultimately to deliver an impeccable client experience, elevate branding and communication, so that no matter how many messengers, the message and the process stays consistent. A well-crafted playbook is going to help a team to really lock down their organic growth and scale the business so that all advisors and team members deliver consistently and are congruent with the firm's vision.
And to clarify, what we mean about a playbook is a literal playbook of best practices. So something that your team can hold in their hands as a reference point, and almost think of it in the sense of your intellectual property in terms of the systems and the processes in your business. And this is separate from your CRM. So you have the playbook in place, right? This is how you conduct yourself as a professional, how you conduct yourselves with your team, how you conduct yourselves with clients. And so having a playbook is going to enable you to really, as Tyler mentioned, lock down the organic growth model in your firm and then really shift and scale the business very effectively and predictably. Every investment of time and effort you make should contribute to the enterprise value of your business. So as an example of what we mean by a playbook, I would like to pull up your playbook table of contents. So this is just simply a framework based on our consulting strategies from Pareto Systems. So this will give you some insight into what type of playbook that you and your team could build. And again, this is a reference point. What you're going to use is the CRM to really bring this to life and automate and actually implement the strategies from your playbook. So just to highlight a few things that should be included in your playbook, it should be really around initially at the top end of your playbook around vision, focus, so having smart, specific, measurable goals, have an understanding of the team in terms of how you allocate your time. And this relates to the CRM in terms of how you guys set up your calendar, when to schedule client meetings, when is admin time. Maybe as a team, you're going to take Friday afternoons off. So you can build this as a reference in your documented playbook, and then of course implement that in your CRM. If you go further, how are you organizing your clients as a team, right? What is your client classification framework? What are your client classification tiers? Do you have a well-defined ideal client profile? If you're looking further to number 3 here, client service, this is around what your ongoing service model looks like. So we've got 2 strategies there, of course. The first one is form that you recognize from our conversation earlier. It's around knowing everything around your clients, gathering that information. So what type of information are you going to gather? You can just simply list that out in your playbook, and then you're going to implement that in your CRM so you can build those form profiles on your clients in there. And then second to that, what does your ongoing service model look like? So based on your client classification tiers, what are the individualized service packages that you're going to provide to each client group? Always having a great minimum level of service for all clients, but what are you going to do to elevate for your best clients? So when we talk about building a service matrix in your playbook, we literally want you to build a snapshot of it in here, and then implement and automate that in your CRM. And moving along in your playbook, we also want to ensure the team's on the same page around how they communicate their value. How are you perceived by your clients? How are you described by your clients? How do you describe yourself? So make sure you document how you position, how you communicate with clients to ensure they understand and appreciate your value. And moving further into your playbook, it could include your process for working with prospective clients. What is your fit process? How do you onboard those clients? What's the series of steps that you go through? What's the meeting formats? Are you using agendas in every client meeting? What's the communication positioning you're using? How do you welcome those clients on board to drive advocacy? So it's outlining that and then implementing and automating those steps within your CRM to execute on it very efficiently and consistently. And finally, what is the general business management of your team? Do you guys have an org chart, responsibilities and roles chart? Is there general guidelines around how you conduct yourself in team meetings? So these sorts of things can be developed. And then if you have a recurring meeting on your calendar in your CRM as a team meeting, you can include that agenda on that recurring meeting. So it's always available to everyone. So these are the types of best practices and things that come out of having a documented playbook and then utilizing the CRM to fully implement it and bring it to life.
And Ryan, my webinar playbook says that I think we should be wrapping this up around now.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know there was 8 best practices. I hope at least you found 2 or 3 that will be helpful for you and what you can implement into your business, into your CRM. So thank you.
Yeah, and also if you don't have a CRM, I know there's still a few of you out there, or maybe you're just not happy with the solution that you have, you're looking elsewhere. We invite you to visit bluesquaretoolkit.com. You can start your free trial. Oh, Ryan brought it up. There you go. You can start your free trial today, free 14-day trial. We also have a link to the demo on there if you want to take a little bit of a deeper dive before the trial. But I'd just like to thank everyone for investing your time in this webinar today. Like Ryan said, hopefully you got a few things out of it. I'd like to thank Ryan for your time as well. Really appreciate it. And yeah, look forward to doing this again sometime soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.